How's it going? Um, this is John, and or Forrest. Obviously, you all came to my page. I'm sorry about the randomness over the past few days. I I guess I should probably start off with why I made my blog how I did. People make a blog randomly. Although it was steps to making it. You know, um, There's different investments, most likely for the qualities and or finding values. I guess since I was attracted to predominantly um, um, the linear matrix of crystal regions where I grew up around all over the country was most likely the bonds and or the crystal class where I related to the most, corresponding to the light years and our distance traveled over making these molecular bonds and our bonds of current voltages that has spin stored effects. I guess the electrochemistry from spinning the time around the different qualities of the equations of complex chemistry was all around the radical expressions over our distance of light that we've traveled over the years together. Thus, the bonding over the light years traveled was the basics of the electronic ground, because of the universal bodies and the universal bodies with free for all gravity, which since the sun will always be constant magnitude all over the universe, the free fall will be universal bodies and or activation systems corresponding to this magnitude. There are a lot of living planets in space, so it's like wherever the crystal regions are and or superconductive like matter is that can sustain dark energy inside of the solid usually has a domain frequency either near high heat and or a different thermal state translation of how it preserved the dark energy and or dark matter. Now dark matter is a little more complex, thus these crystals always have the complexities preserved inside. Its molecular formations are always really cool too, but thus people don't really know much about crystallography, so they're not really into the depthness of space. So back to where I was starting in or trying to explain the values and trying to in or the investment of making my blog. Um, since everything under the clouds had been a little disrupted over the past few years, I guess covering up things by gradients and doing these protests that made um, different groups of waves corresponding by their the notations and or the properties that they owned, um, and or like the expressions they had for the nearby systems and stuff like that ended up being chaotic. Um, Obviously, the 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 decay of the ground um, kind of slowed down the speed of light as we were all traveling, um, and it diffracted the light of traveling by Einstein's equations of E equals mc squared from all of us not being able to travel at the speed of light because of the diffraction. Before then, we were able to travel at the speed of light. All of us on the ground, on the ground was most likely free fall gravitation due to all of us being universal human bodies. The properties of equalities were always at the speed. Thus, since inequalities arise from the destruction and or the distortion, um, it's most likely um, one second. It's most likely the inclusion of how um, how solutions over using the internet would help arise over the investment of finding the um, you know hot guys or guys that I would like to have fun with or like have friends and stuff because I also move around and stuff. wasn't really trying to talk about space that much, so I was trying to, it, um, not trying to make this video too long. I'll probably make another one, but I do have to talk pretty fast here. Um, Again, trying to get back to what was I was talking. Anyways, the pictures on my profile and or the reblogs, the pictures of me were pictures and or expressions, um, radiative expressions expressing how how I like white guys or Caucasian guys or guys that were like that made my electron spin. Um, I was most likely it was a statical distribution of attraction from the accumulation of chemical bonds that just it always worked well, and a lot of things became successful. Although as a system and the surrounding with the universal systems all around us and various gradient scales, it can always find different symmetries. Thus, where the current and or the electron harnessed in between sustaining like a close bond where it was like really intense was basically based off the harnessed energy from the bonds that I made. So since it was really complex for me to meet, you know, um, for me to meet guys that I was attracted to and or I thought was really hot and wanted to do things with, I made my blog so I could, show examples of radiative expressions and definites because some guys didn't like, know what you're into and stuff like that and what you like to do in, statical distributions of positions. So I did that and yeah. Uh, but it had nothing to do with like like the porn or anything. Again, it was just like oh it was something nice. I thought it was nice, whatever. Obviously, we can do our own things. We can do things that probably aren't even online, make things a little better. But I don't know. I can talk forever, so I'll probably just cut this video short. I really didn't get to explain a lot. I'll probably talk way too long. So I guess this was the first video of me just talking.